Good morning, everybody. Coming at you from the laundry room today. Should be nice and quiet. All right, we have 6 exercises that we're going to go through quickly. The first of which is going to be our weighted transfer lunge. So last week we brought the squat back in. This week we're going to bring the lunge back in. So remember, the biggest difference between our trans squat and the trans lunge is what the front leg does. So on the trans lunge, we'll step back to 5 o'clock, but only the back leg is going to bend. So front leg stays nice and straight. Back leg gets the bend. Push the hips back, then all the way back together. So we are weighted this week. Whatever weight you use is going to be up in the chest. Abs nice and tight. If you have something that's so heavy that you can't hold it up in that front squat position, you can let it hang. That'll work fine. But for everybody else, want you in that rack position. So I'm going to step back to 5 o'clock, rotate my hips, bending that back knee, sit back into that heel, all the way back together. Ooh, no press on this one, just the lunge. So then step back to 7 o'clock, lunge, back together. All right, next exercise is our single curl and press. So I want you to take the heaviest weight that you have, preferably a dumbbell. Kettlebell's gonna be a little bit harder on this one to get it rotated where you want it. But it's just our single arm, bicep curl and press. I want you to take the opposite leg in front. So if I've got my weight in my right hand, I got my left leg in front. Most of my weight is on it, so we're turning it into a little bit of a balance exercise, but not a lot. We're gonna bicep curl out of that other side. Because I only have a 30, I'm gonna have to add a little bit of momentum and pop through my legs to get that curl up, and then that press overhead. Most of us probably have a little bit more variability with our weights. So if you have, say, a 10, a 12, a 15, try to make it as strict as you can. Curl, press, back down, nice and strong, back down. All right? Other arm you can do what you want with. I like to put it out to the side. I feel a little bit more balanced and controlled. You don't have to. It can hang out down on your hip, down on the ground, doesn't matter. But abs are tight, big pop overhead, nice and strong. Then we've got our weighted alternating V-ups. Been a while since we've seen this one. You're going to see it again later this week too. But so on those weighted alternating V-ups, angle this down just a tiny bit more. We're going to be down the back. You're looking for a medium-sized weight. For most of us, that's somewhere in the 8 to 12 range. We're going to start all the way stretched out, legs out in front, arms back behind, abs in nice and tight. Now the goal is to get one leg, your back, and both arms up off the ground. So one leg, my back, my arms reaching up towards each other, and back down. So modifications on this one. If you have a very heavy weight, make sure that your arms come up a little bit first. Once the arms get to about head height, you'll probably be able to get the leg to meet them in the middle. Other options, bend the elbows in a little bit closer to your body. Next option is to treat it as a crunch. So bring the arms in, crunch the back up as high as you can, trying to pull the shoulder blades up, and then take it back down from there. So lots of options on that one. Again, the end result that you're looking for eventually is one leg up, both arms up, the entire back up off the ground, abs working nice and hard. Next up on our list is our animal squat. We've done these tons of times, but just as a reminder, you're in that plank position. On that animal squat, your knees want to stay as low to the ground as you can. So watching those knees, pointing them down at the ground, press back into that squat. So now you've got two options. The true animal squat, once you get back, one arm is going to reach back for the opposite ankle, then you're going to come back to center. So then alternating sides, I go back to that squat, I reach back to the opposite ankle, back to center. If reaching your hand back puts too much pressure on the shoulders, especially if you've had a shoulder injury in the past and you're still working on getting that stability back, you do not have to reach back. You can take just the squat and return to plank. But the true animal squat with the full challenge is reaching that hand back as well. Keep the knees nice and low. The quad should start to get tired on you, as well as the shoulders and the core. Next are our crab taps. We've done these lots of times. But as a reminder, hips are up nice and tall, abs are in tight. My opposite foot and hand are going to meet in the middle, drop back down. Remember, as you lift, we are pressing through the hips, trying to open the hips up a little bit, as well as the shoulder. So trying to really lift the chest to the ceiling. If this one becomes too much, your modification on stepping down is lifting just a hand or lifting just a foot. The hand is going to be the more challenging of the two, especially if you focus on rotating that shoulder and lifting the chest nice and high. All right, guys, last one are our Superman swimmers. Been a long time on this one. For most of us, maybe your first time, you're going to go flat to the ground, face down, arms and legs extended. So, from here, Superman just means that we are lifting the whole body up off the ground, squeezing the abs in nice and tight, using every muscle through the back side of the core. So our swimmer refers to getting an extra lift out of the opposite arm and leg. So my right arm and my left leg are going to lift, and then I'm going to switch while I'm still up. Switch, switch. The whole time, you're going to be working your hamstrings, your glutes, your erector spinae, the muscles running up your spine, your rhomboids between your shoulders, the back of your shoulders. Everything should be working together. Your biggest focus on that one is not rocking side to side. It happens naturally, especially if you're really tight through your shoulders, and getting them up and back is hard. So really focus on keeping everything down and pressing into the floor as you lift to try to prevent that rotation. If you've watched an Olympic swimmer, when they pick up their head, you hardly see their hips move. You don't see the movement side to side. So really focus on maintaining that everything pointing down to the ground. All right, guys, have a good time. Let me know if you have any questions.